So I have on my desk the original illustrated London News, complete with bound cover. And unfortunately, whoever had this before me cut things out. So I have some missing pages, but it's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. I think what they did is they managed to collate all the original papers. Some of them are folded. You can see the fold lines from where they were originally sent out, and then they got bound into these big books. So it's stamped here 1 penny, and this one is January. It's Saturday, January the 5th, 1867. And it is done in 2 volumes because I think it would be too thick and heavy. This one is volume from January to June 1867. I do have the July to December, but that book was the cover, and it was in such bad state and falling apart. I actually took the book apart. I got these at the oldest, largest bookshop, second-hand bookshop in England when I was there in September this year. And so what I have done is I have taken the other one apart, as I said, and I have scanned in all the images. Well, not all the images, just the Christmas supplement. And so I've scanned this, and it is the front page for this month's journal. I have also scanned what I can fit on my scanner of the next pages with these beautiful initials. And because my scanner only takes A4, it's very difficult to scan the whole thing. Plus, as you can see, it's not in the best of conditions. So it's just, I find it beautiful. I find the illustrations amazing. These are engravings. So somebody sat and line etched this into copper, and then they've printed it. So this is the original, and I have put in the members only area this illustration of Fairyland, and this one, Grandma's Come. I love this naughty little child sneaking in to look in the box of what Grandma has brought with her, and this one with its rather sullen face. I just think the way this was done is just beautiful. This girl is, and the grandma are kind of the feature. This child is a bit softer. The background is softer. It's just, they are precious. They really are precious. And then we have some Christmas puzzles. Somebody has written in pencil, Merry Christmas. And there were riddles. They'd written names and things. Obviously, different people were to read them at Christmas time. We have, this is the schoolboy's notion of what a Christmas pantomime ought to be. I haven't put that in because, again, I can't scan it. And then we have first and second floor. So this is a poem. And this is the illustration. So I have managed to, because it's small enough, scan this and pop this in to the members only area. And I will read that poem for you now. First and second floor. Oh, is that the way on a Christmas day that a Christian man should dine? Here's Timothy Skinner. He's eaten his dinner and is sitting alone with his wine. He has no friends in life, no children, no wife, to pull the old codger to pieces, no sisters and brothers, the fathers or mothers, of dear little nephews and nieces. From China and trade with his small fortune made, Mr. Skinner, retiring, has landed by the P&O boat after 6 weeks afloat. He yesterday found himself stranded. In no hurry for London and feeling his run done, of travelling sick and of dodging, the lone bachelor muses of what his life use is, as he sulks in a seaside lodging. He thinks in the strife of his business life, full of worry and toil and wrangle, ties of kindred and friends are now lost like the ends of a skein that's got into a tangle. For our loves spin the thread, loves of living or dead, that alone can afford us the clue to unravel the knot of mortality's lot, a hard puzzle to me and to you. But poor Timothy fears in the last 20 years Sister Pole has forgotten to love him. So few letters have passed, childhood's feelings don't last. Why, what is that noise now above him? What a romping and routing, what singing and shouting, what a screaming of infinite laughter, what a din of feet dancing and jumping and prancing on a floor of mere board and rafter. Mr. S rings both bells, and his landlady tells, and perhaps just a little he swears, "Stop that noise, it's bewildering. Please, sir, it's the childering of the lady as lodges upstairs." "Confound her and them, I insist, Mrs. Clem. You go up and to that lady this minute. Say no house can allow such a deuce of a row to disturb every lodger within it." Mrs. Clem, though unwilling, was fond of a shilling, and the first floor gent paid the better. So she tapped at the door on her second floor, where Poll, Mrs. Hilary, met her. When just at that time Mr. S had to climb to his bedroom a story up higher. "My portmanteau is here, my cigar case not bare. I can smoke by the parlour fire." "Why, Tim, home at last?" "What, Poll? Hold me fast." "God bless you, my sister, my brother." "Girls and boys, Uncle View, what a jolly young crew. Made a noise? Now we'll all make another." Then it gives an explanation. They rush into the second floor drawing room, hurrahing and dancing. Important discovery. Uncle Tim is made of Chinese Sikhi silver. He distributes his fingers and toes for Christmas gifts, thumbs and big toes to the youngest children, of course. More cheering and capering. Grand finale. The second floor breaks down with a crash beneath Voifer are stamping. First and second merge into one. Nobody hurt. All more jolly. Tableau with amazement of a Mrs. Clem left on the upstairs landing. I thought that was hilarious. So here we have the children making a ruckus noise, and here we have him sitting on the lower floor pulling the bell to call Mrs. Clem. I just think that's hysterical. So when I was designing this month's set of papers, I looked at the French dictionary that we already have as one of the printables, and I looked at the colorway and I thought, wouldn't it be nice if we could mix and match? So I've gone for a base color that works with this one, so we can mix it. And in the add-ons, I have recreated the cover same as the main journal, but I've used the pages from the Illustrated London News. They are all set to be the 5x7 size, so if you do print them back to back and they do misprint slightly, you'll just have to ink the edges. But I have printed them back to back like so. And then in the members only area, I have this add-on as well. It is the fairies and then the grandmother, as well as the first and second floor story that I read. You of course also have in the members only area the A4, so you can print it out the full size or print at a different scale, because if you have the full sheet and you print 2 up or 4 up, it means you can get different sizes of things. Then we have the tags, that we have this on the back, so you can write on top of it, so you can actually print them out and use them as gift tags if you would like to, or you can use this page on its own as an extra texture in your books. Then before we get to the main journal, what I have done here is I have left the designs as I scan them as black and white. There is a page at the end which is the full scap of color. So if you want to print these on top of color, you can print that first and then print these on top. So this month I have scanned in the August catalogue from 1926 of the Bicycle Factory. That's the direct translation. It is in German, and in fact I have seen some of these toys in the vintage craft market. So these are real little steam toys, and this, for example, this little merry-go-round, I've actually seen, and that one, I've seen them in person and didn't realize how very, very old they were. They're tin. So what I've done is I've scanned this in as well as I can, because it's really hard to document without getting what is on the back coming through. So I have made it so that the images are still visible. I mean, you can see what they are, but you can't read it because it's so tiny, so it doesn't matter that it's in German. And I've set it out so that when you fold your book together, you have first the decorations, and then it goes on to the children's toys. And I have muted the print slightly so that it becomes a background and you'll be able to put things on top of it. So for this month, you can actually make 2 different journals. If you are in the members area, you can add this second page, and this is the first and second floor with the illustration, which I have set so that it is in the middle. And so yes, I just thought it would be fun to be able to make 2 separate journals, or of course you can mix and match. I'm using my card cutter because it can cut a lot of pages together. This is only 6, it can cut up to 10 sheets of cardstock, and I have it on the odd page in the front, which is the 5x7 setting. Seeing as I can't find my usual stapler, I found this one, and I need to mark where the staples come out. So I'm just giving myself the marking with a permanent marker so that I know where that one's clear enough, so that I know where to staple. Yep, focus. So I have done the marking over there, and now when I staple on my centerpiece, I will be able to line it up. So that I can line it up, I am going to fold my first page in half and ink it. I'm using black because, well, the ink on my paper is black. I'm going to do the same for this one. And then you can either clip them like I like to do, and for that I have these 90-degree corner clips. So pop one on there and one on there using my foam pad. And the dot I have just made, I like to go about 1 inch from the bottom ish and check that this side is lined up. Right, and press in. Grab my flathead screwdriver and just push the staples down in the middle. Now I'm going to fold the book in half. And then trim the excess off, which you can either do with your paper trimmer or with your ruler and craft knife. Might be easier to do this one in sections. I didn't fold these pages first. Probably would have been a better idea. I usually do. Or you can just fold the whole book. But this one is a lot thicker, so I think I'm going to just page by page, I'm going to fold the book. There we go. And now we can trim all the excess off. For that I'm going to use my craft knife and ruler, line it up with the cover and just score as many times as necessary to get through all the pages. I've created these add-on pages for this set of papers, but it depends on what printer setting you are going to print on. I don't know your printer, I just can talk about my printer. I printed this on the matte photo paper setting, not photo paper, matte premium paper. I don't know, it keeps changing. Every time it does an update, this machine changes the things that it does. So I printed, every second one here you can see is printed on the glossy photo setting. And that one, and that one are on the matte premium photo setting, paper setting. So you can see there is a huge difference in the color. And if you are wanting it to match, you need to print everything on the same setting. So I'm showing you this because also in our set of things is this lovely range of papers. And this color scheme on the glossy setting will actually work really well with that. So if you're looking to do add-ons for this kit, change your photo setting and see if that works. So if I separate them out, we then have pages that go with that kit and pages that go with this kit. It's like a 2-for-1. So test out your printer settings and see what works. So the rest of this kit, again, I printed the whole of this kit on the glossy photo settings, so it's the darker settings. And these are add-on pages to add into your journal if you're wanting to do a more Christmassy vibe. And then we have all the music options. So the original music looks like this. So it's a beautiful vintage piece, and I then edited it in various ways. So I took out the center, added some splats and grunginess, less splats and grunginess, different colorways. So you've got various options there, and then the original. So I thought this would be nice to mix and match in with pretty much anything. Actually, it doesn't have to be Christmas. It's not a Christmas carol, but music goes with Christmas. So I just thought it was a nice add-on, and you can have all different tints and tones and colorways. And yep, we can then bring back in this one, which is ridiculously peach, and its counterpart, which goes with the Christmas book. So yes, there is something for everything in this kit, and you can use it and mix and match with all sorts. Sometimes I want to make extra little bits on top of my projects, and so I print things a little smaller. There are 5 pages in this document. However, I only want 4 of them because the last one is, well, it's my instructions on how to use this document. So now if I go to 4, it only gives me 4 pages, which is perfect. And I have got it set to pages 1 to 4, but then the number of pages per sheet, I've got it set to 2. So it's going to shrink my pages in half, slightly more than half, because it does the white border thing, which is fine because I'm going to be cutting everything out. You can, of course, go to 4 up, in which case it'll give you really teeny tiny images. So this is the way to get the most out of this printable, is by just playing with the different settings on the print menu. So now I would go to print. For this document that only has 2 pages, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to print, and at the moment it is set for 2 pages per sheet, but I'm going to ask it for 4. And because there are only 2 pages to print, again, I'm going to take away the last page, and now I will have 2 pages that will print at the top of the sheet. So what I can do is send this to print. Once it's finished, come back in, do the same again, rotate my paper, and print on the bottom half of the sheet. So if I go to print. So as always, I like to discuss printing options. And this one I printed fit to page with as little border as possible. But it does mean that I've nearly lost this detail over here. So with that in mind, I printed this one with the fit to page idea, and now I've got the whole image on my sheet. So there is a border around this one, just so that you know, well, it's when I design things so that I know where the edge of the page is. But when I'm going to be making card fronts or whatever I'm using these for, I'm not using them as is anyway, so I'm going to be cutting them down. Same as these, I'm going to cut it down. I can still make the same border all the way around, measuring that top edge. And yeah, so that is how I get around losing too much of my image when it fits to page, because of course it needs to make sure that it prints off the edge of the page so that you don't have a white edge. Then we have the second or the other page in this document. Here I've printed edge to edge. Here I've printed 2 up. And this is just, so this is on photo matte paper on photo setting, and this is just on plain paper on plain setting. It is my watercolor cardstock, and I have printed on the textured side. I don't know if you will be able to see that on here, but it does give the images a lovely vintage feel. Then, as I explained in the when I'm setting up for print options, I first printed this piece at the 4-up setting, turned it around and printed the second piece. So you can get 4 out, you just need to run it through your printer twice. So now I have lots of options of different sizes of both these lots of images to be able to use on cards, tags, in my journals, etc. So I've done the same thing with this set of printables, only I set it on the narrowest, so no extension at all, because I didn't want to lose much of this design, and for some reason my printer pulls it through ever so slightly skew, so I land up with a slight white edge on the bottom here and a definite white edge on the bottom there on all 4 of these. But again, it doesn't bother me because I'm going to be cutting these pieces up to make card fronts, so I will be trimming them down anyway. And then on the normal aquarelle or watercolor cardstock, 300 GSM, I have printed on normal paper setting, as in just normal plain paper setting, and I've printed 2-up. I didn't go for the 4-up because these designs would have turned out really small and not what I can imagine using them for. So at this point I can still use them for little card fronts on the front of a small gift tag to go on a present. I can turn them into tags by, especially these ones, by chopping the corners off and punching them. So I can see lots of different ways of using them at the 2-up setting. Last up we have the freebie. It's the tags with the illustrated London news on the back so that you can print it out and actually write over it. And I have pulled out all the initials and put them together as a freebie as tags, and all you need to do is cut them out. I have inked the edges with black soot, and then I've used my single hole punch to punch out the hole for ribbon.